On Monday, we talked about possible rotation into some of the big name value stocks. That's exactly what happened. Momo's come off, quantum stocks get hit, Circle, Hood, but like who really cares? There's so many other good stocks out there and so many other sectors in this big, beautiful market. There's always something to buy. That rant's over with. High short interest stocks, big move. We got to discuss that move and open yesterday. Tony Pollock, 835. Tony's going to give his perspective on the markets. We couldn't be more fired up today on Pre-Market Prep.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Yeah, chasing some of these momos yesterday could certainly get you in trouble. You know what? Buy the dip has already occurred. We're 10 handles off the low of the day, up $1.75, 46.50. Dollar flat, 97.58. Call TLT holding some of those gains, most of those gains from yesterday, down 9 cents, 85.91. How's USO looking? USO, man, we are developing some major resistance up top. That looks like to be 77.78. Down 51 cents, 75.08. GLD down $1.18 at 311.95. Silver SLV over 35, but down a nickel, 35.30. In Bitcoin, consolidation station here at 119K, getting ready for another bid in the markets. We'll bring on Triple D and Triple D after a manic Monday. How you feeling on this terrific Tuesday?
There you go. I like the optimism here, Joel. And this market optimistic too, because like you said, they are coming already and buying the dip. I mean, this is, the resilient market. And even yesterday, where a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, look at the nuclear names, look at the Momo names. Is this the end? Is it over? We saw a lot of momentum come out of the momentum names, but it did not go to cash. It went to other names that hadn't been participating. We saw a lot of value names having pretty decent days, some of the beaten down sector stocks that hadn't participated. Today, it's the home builders. The home builders getting a lot of love off of DHI, which we'll get to their earnings in a second. But, this market, Joel, it's just very resilient. And even when they're selling Momo, they're not selling everything. So the S&P's steady as she goes.
Yeah, we can look at some of the big components. They all moved up yesterday. We had some other value stocks we are moving. The lifeblood of it, like we said, rotation. Should we get to the railroad saga here? Rumor. I think
Brentster's in the background here, and he's covering these two. Semaphore again here, Brentster, and we'll say good morning to Brentster here as well if he's here.
Good morning.
Morning, Brentster. So we have more rumors from the rails last night. So obviously Semaphore breaking this initial rumor that NSC or CSX were targets for UNP. Well, not to be left out, it appears that Uncle Warren wants to go out with a bang maybe, and he's talking. The rumors are that his privately owned BNSF may actually buy another one, and people are speculating that because Wall Street Journal speculated that it was NSC that was a target for UNP. So Semaphore is now speculating that Warren Buffett may be targeting CSX. So CSX trading up 4% here this morning. Lifted originally on the original Semaphore rumor because they had NSC or CSX as UNP's target. And then Wall Street Journal clarified further that it looks like it's NSC. Well, now it looks like Warren there driving the rail, looking like he doesn't want to be left out here. So lots of M&A rumors, all still rumors in the rails with, not a love triangle anymore, but what do you call a love square with you got Warren and UNP and CSX and NSC. Who's tagging up with who, or is there going to be nothing to come of this? Brentster, you were speculating you think there will be something that comes of this. Why?
I think we have multiple parts of this rumor from multiple different parts of the pipeline. We have the first Semaphore rumor. So, and here's a little piece of info. Semaphore has connections to bankers. we have another rumor here from Semaphore that is coming from the bank side of things. So when we got that first rumor, it was that they were tapping banks. The second rumor that they were tapping banks. The Wall Street Journal rumor was coming from the companies directly, not the bankers. So we have the pipeline, the M&A pipeline here, bankers saying this deal could happen, the companies saying this deal could happen. I think this is where there's smoke, there's fire, and we have smoke coming from multiple parts of this deal here, potential deal.
Joel, technicals, do they go away here on potential deals? You have targets here. NSC sitting up near the high. CSX is up near the highs because both are potential targets here now. Do they both get scooped up or do neither get scooped up? I mean, that's the questions. I don't know if the technicals can answer that, but maybe you got some levels you're looking at here.
Yeah, I don't know how well levels are going to play out on this. I'm a little disappointed in myself because when the original rumors started, I'm like, well, what about CSX? Are they going to get? Are they going to stand pat and let this? I mean, it didn't make sense. It felt like they were ganging up on them. So, if there's smoke, there's fire. These things are moving. Norfolk Southern's moving up on it. CSX is moving up on it. I can't. It's hard to give any levels when things are
stocks are in play. Technicals go away.
Who
knows the prices that could come out of this? I don't think you're going to see big premiums here though, because one is this isn't like like AI plays, tech plays. I don't think it's going to be like crazy, like 40-50% premiums. I think it would be 10 to 20%, and that's probably from the pre-takeout where the rumors started there. So if you didn't, let's just say you did a 20%er on NSC, well, it started around 260, the rumors. So 52 bucks on that could get you to maybe 310, 315. But then you get the problems of antitrust, like you were pointing out here, Joel. And I'm not sure that there isn't issues here with regulators as they've blocked mergers here in the past. So there's lots of balls to juggle and lots to consider here. But so far they're still speculating both stocks trading up here in the pre-market, and there could be some something to this.
I think that with the regulatory stuff, I think it's more of like a timeline. I think with potential regulatory hurdles to get over, it's just that this deal would be like extended, maybe probably potentially into 2026. I don't know if there would be like a concern, especially if CSX is going to get in this mix too. I don't know that there would be concern of like, monopolizing the space necessarily, but there's going to be a lot of stuff to roll through. So the timeline is going to be majorly pushed out for a deal like this.
It really makes it complicated now.
Yeah. I mean, and we can, stick on the rails here. We'll keep you guys updated. Obviously, follow my Twitter feed. We'll be all over this. I posted it very quickly last night when it broke again last night there. So stick with us here. If you're following along, we'll keep following the story. The other major story here that was yesterday, and props to Jay Rice, who was posting it early there from our chat, is Eric Jackson, who is Carvana guy, called Carvana. Stock went from 3 to 300. Is all over open, and he is promoting it, talking it everywhere on Twitter, and now it's like a movement. This open movement has started where traders are coming in and trying to basically make this thing go up. They're saying it could be the next GME. A lot, like if you go on Twitter, you see a message for this every second. So they're all over it. It's really moved here. It's went from 77 cents a week ago to almost $5 yesterday. Did peel back from $4.97 down to $3.21 at the close. Is trading up here this morning. I got a small little speculative position I took on this morning here just for fun, but very small. But I mean, these things can go anywhere. This is like, it could be over. Maybe 497 is the all-time high. Maybe they get it going again. It's traded 50 million shares already here this morning. So this is going to trade a pile. If you don't, so again, Eric Jackson is the person who is behind this movement here. He calls himself the Carvana hedge fund guy. He's following is going way up here. It's 63,000 followers on Twitter here now, which I think is way up from where it was even 2 days ago. So a lot of people following this person here now. Basically, just looking at, the tweets, he's tweeting continuously here and saying, who's with me? This country, this country, this country. It's like, he's trying to coordinate a movement to basically squeeze the stock higher. So it's interesting.
I'm going to give some total meaningless information, okay, if you want to invest in this stock. And Q1, it lost 9 cents. The quarter before, I'm just going to read off the last 5 quarters. Lost 9, lost 11, lost 10, lost 4, lost 12, lost 14, lost 11, lost 30, lost 64, lost 74, lost 52. It doesn't matter, right? But $5, Dennis. We talk about that $5 level, and it kind of topped out there before that yesterday. It's mounting it once again. Is Eric Jackson our new Roaring Kitty?
Yeah, it does appear that's what he's trying to be, is the next Roaring Kitty, where, you know, he's trying to make it the next GME and he's trying to get out there and get coordinated. Who's with me? Let's get this stock going higher. I mean, that whole thing is sketchy to me from a regulator perspective, but I'm not a regulator. So, I mean, obviously Roaring Kitty, you know, it seemed a little bit sketchy at the time too, but, you know, he's, you know, still made a pile of money and doing fine. So it's interesting to say the least, but $5 is always significant on these. One, when you get over 5, the securities become marginable on a lot of brokerages. So that's something to consider as well. If they can get this over 5, it could move. But, you know, it got rejected at the $5 area yesterday almost perfectly to $4.97. So technicals do come in play even on these pump stocks. Now, the other question is that this starts, and remember when GME started, then it started to roll over into a whole pile of other stocks. So I always go to that highshortinterest.com page. This was the one they were using back in the GME days. And you look at like what's got the high short interest on that, because a lot of retail traders use that site. And number one is Wolf, WOLF. We know that company, I believe, is bankrupt, but, you know, it's perking up here a little bit here. Actually, it had the big run from 1 to 3, starting to look a little bit higher. Coal started to show a lot of life yesterday. It says 45 cents short interest. I think it's up here again this morning simply because they're squeezing stocks right now. So we're back to this again, where you've got to like look at your short interest, because people are going around social media trying to get stocks to squeeze. So we're seeing, you know, coal squeeze up here a little bit here in the last couple of days. Other stocks on the list that moved yesterday was Beyond Meat. There's a stock that, you know, company fundamentals not great. Company, you know, has been pretty much in shambles ever since it was $200. It's $3. Now it's $4 because that had a huge rise yesterday from $3.50 to $4.50. Again, they're going through and they're looking, you know, what stocks have high short interest and what stocks are squeezed. So if you're short a stock on this list, I would be cautious. You know, or can some of these other stocks on this list run? Yes, they can. Are they all going to run? Probably not. So it's like, you know, you got to follow and, you know, these things and which ones are going, which ones are not going. But, you know, we're highlighting a few of them that went yesterday there. So Space SPCE is another one that's been perking up. Virgin Galactic has been, you know, company's had a lot of trouble, but the last few days the stock has went from 3 to 4. So I think, you know, we're in that market right now where they're looking to squeeze stocks. And if your stock has a higher short interest, you don't want to be short those names.
I also gave a little boost to Rocket. Maybe Rocket went up for other reasons yesterday, but this is you know, housing. That's what Open Door does, right? Rocket made a little bit of a move
I don't
yesterday.
even know what Open Door does. I have no idea what they do. Let's go look. Real estate company is an online company that buys and sells residential real estate. Headquartered in San Francisco, it makes instant cash offers on homes through an online process, makes repairs on the properties it purchases, and relists them for sale. Sounds like a viable business. Sounds pretty good, actually.
Oh, yeah, San Francisco.
Like, I don't know fundamentals, but the business sounds like that's possible. It looks like they're home flippers.
But, you know, you just pay attention. I mean, you can use your time. Just sell it on the way up. How is that for not investment advice? Sell it on the way up and, you know, and buy it when, you know, if you're trading shorter term charts or whatever, go ahead and drill down on it. I will say once it gets above $5, it gets a little bit more interesting. It's not quite...
It would be interesting above $5. I don't know if it can get there or not, but it would be interesting above $5. And like I said, I have a small speculative position. It's super small, like super small.
Do they have him coming on CNBC at all? Have you seen that's when
that would be a catalyst.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so I don't know if Brent can dig that down, but if he's got, you know, a public appearance there and he's on, Eric Jackson's been on CNBC lots of times. I've listened to Eric Jackson for years. He's been coming on CNBC lots of times, but now all of a sudden he's on the map as the next Roaring Kitty. So, you know, his followers are going way up. People are all over him here. So, you know, even just this morning, he's gained followers here. So keep an eye on this guy.
All right, should we move into just real quick the DH Horton earnings, since we're talking
Yeah.
about
Well,
that's good stuff.
yeah. So we can start with DHI, or we can start with DHI. We can tie in here because
Yeah,
we are
let's tie
seeing
that in.
rotation into value names here in the last day or two. DHI is definitely as my computer lags. Why? You have the earnings in front of you? There they are. DHI. Do you have the earnings in front of you, Joel? I'm not getting it.
Yeah, no, I was just I was trying to tune you in here. Yeah, I mean, having it go to the where is my earnings calendar? Let me go right here.
Okay, I got it. 40 cents. So they made 40 cents, 46 cents, sorry. So 46 cents of earnings. That tops Q3. They also are raising, no, they're narrowed sales guidance from 33.3 billion to 34.8 billion to 33.7. So actually, that's kind of just in line. So they beat on the bottom line. The guidance was fine. And probably the case is that home builders, just haven't done a hell of a lot. So, and we got this value market all of a sudden where, people are interested in stocks that aren't Momo, because a lot of those stocks, those Momo stocks, got hit yesterday. So they're looking a little bit different spots right now. So DHI, perfect day to report. PHM also reported here, though. It was trading down earlier and actually has come back. Green tech isn't more than a determined, but as of right now, we're seeing a little bit of money, especially yesterday, going to some value stocks, and we're seeing that today, this morning. PHM reported $3.03 versus $3, so it beat, and they slightly missed on sales. Stock was trading down, but has moved higher here as well. So the home builders are moving a little bit up here this morning.
Big move, big boom. Not sure what the expected move is. If you look at the prior history of these stocks, they, wild dips get bought, wild rips get sold. Who knows if that's going to be the case today? I can tell you, I see a level that I like that's been a good level since February. I'm going to target 142. The pre-market high has not come up to that yet. Pre-market high 141.39. Simple, very simple technical analysis here. It doesn't get any more simple than this. You had a high at 141.82 on July 10th. You had another high at 142.67 on February 5th. That's a lot of date. That's a long time period for two levels in the same point. Keep an eye on that. I'm not calling that as the high everything. If that's your target, that's a good level here. Long ways to fill the gap here. Keep in mind, folks, we don't have an interest rate coming. Interest rate cut coming July, maybe September, maybe. Who knows? This PHM has a little bit technical set up, a little bit different. Look at all those sellers that congregated here at 110, 110.06, 110. I mean, to me, right here, this looks like a breakout to me in PHM here, just holding the 110 level. Couldn't chase the DR Horton, but keep an eye 110. That's the swing level for PHM, and 142 for DR Horton.
Other earnings here, which we've had quite a few here this morning. We got 25 major companies reporting here this morning. We are in the heart of earnings season here, but General Motors, we've got to cover here. GM, lots of interesting factoids from the General Motors report. So they did beat good earnings, 18 cents. They were light on guidance here, and they're also warning that tariffs are going to take $1 billion bite out of their earnings. And they also said, that could be higher too, and moving up to $4 to $5 billion for the full year if tariffs stay in place where they are. So tariffs are getting hit. And why is that? Well, one of two things happens. When you have tariffs are a tax. They're nothing more than a tax. They're going to be a tax on either the company in the form of lower margins because they have to absorb some of it, or they pass it all on to the consumer and the end consumer pays it. Well, if you've got your parts going up substantially here and you're paying these tariffs, then you may have difficulty raising those car prices, which are already super high. So I think what's happening is a combo approach for General Motors, probably where they're going to pass a little bit through, but having to absorb it. And they're sounding like it's going to take a $1 billion bite out of their earnings here, like imminently here. So that's where General Motors is at, tariffs impacting General Motors. But stock, holding up fairly well, considering it's had a little bit of a run. I think the 50 is big here, Joel. Thoughts, concerns?
I mean, they were spot on with how much the tariffs were going to take off the revenue. So spot on to the company for identifying that. Consolidation makes a new high for the move yesterday. A bunch of lows. Here's an instance where support's going to be new resistance, and I'm just going to ballpark it. I'm going to call it $53. You had all these lows there yesterday. 53.18 was the low of the day. 53.21. I'll just ballpark. I mean, that's going to be a major hurdle. If this thing over today, next couple days, can't get back over 53, get a sustained 53 bid, there's really no good level. A low at 50, just under 52, but be careful here. So going to give you good resistance for the next couple days in General Motors. Ford, which is yet to report, that's backed off as well too. But I mean, the company, they're doing okay. I mean, if it wasn't for the tariffs, it would have been another.
It would have been a big blowout.
I know.
So it said it's sapped. Their words sapped $1.1 billion from their results. And what they're saying is the full 2025 could hit their bottom line by $4 to $5 billion if these tariffs stay in place. Like, that's huge. So, don't kid yourself. I mean, we see, more revenue coming from tariffs, but it's coming from somewhere. And in this case, we might see $4 to $5 billion come just from General Motors. Yikes.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of moolah.
A lot of moolah.
Also reporting here this morning, Lockheed Martin, and it is down substantially. This is a huge move for LMT. It is down 7.5% here right now. The quarter was a miss, a substantial miss actually here in profit. So we've got $1.46 versus 508. I don't know. There must have been some adjustments in there. So I'm just taking the numbers as they are. They do see EPS though for the 2025 way down, 21.70 to 22 versus $27 estimate here. So that's taking the market by surprise. I don't think anybody expected them to be that much of a shortfall here. And LMT is having a huge oversized move. Like, LMT typically doesn't move more than 10, 12 bucks. I don't know what the expected move was here, but I guarantee it wasn't $34, $5. So it's down 7.5%. Breaking down not that far from now the April lows, which we were down at 418. We're at 425 here this morning. So perilously close to those April lows. The war stock with no wars happening here right now, not doing too great.
And you think about it, there was a war going on, Dennis. I know you played that war trade, a couple times, and then the war lasted 10 days, and you backed off it. No pre-earnings run here. Bulls got to do some heavy lifting today. Pre-market low comes in at 418.88. Your April low 418.88. Another low a little bit higher than that. So you have bounced off it. We'll see if the bulls come in to defend. You are $6 above that. That's a good level. You get, if you wanted to buy something at the April low and you missed it, well, maybe here's your opportunity. But no wars, not good earnings. How's this affecting the rest of the defense sector?
Well, they all reported. So NOOCC reported earnings here as well. And we have General Dynamics, I believe, reporting tomorrow. So they all go bang, bang, bang. So NOOCC's numbers were actually pretty good. They beat by $1.33, and they beat on revenue as well. So at 815 versus 682. So NOOCC showing how it's done. I guess Lockheed Martin with some special charges in there as well. So it wasn't apples to apples, those comparisons there. But NOOCC going the opposite direction here, up 16 points here this morning here, Joel. 540 looms over very large on that stock. So I'd be, more of a seller than a buyer up at 540, especially when you look at the long-term chart. If you scroll out, you'll see highs in October 2024, 24 or at 540. And then in 2025 again, in April we hit 540. Now we're getting back up towards that level again. So resistance very well defined, 540 on NOOCC.
Time to time I come out with my wacky spread trades.
What do you got for me?
This is what I got for you. This is not investment advice by any stretch of the imagination. You sell Northrop Grumman and you buy Lockheed Martin.
Well, this is not wacky. This is Don Bright Trading Pairs 101. You are obviously a contrarian strategy. You're selling the strong one, buying the weak one. But we know with the banks that often works well. I've never done it in the defense stocks to see if that's going to work well, but I won't fight you on it there either. So saying these stocks all kind of move together over time. You got one down 35, one up 15. Let's put it on. I've seen that blow out even further though. Like, where's your out? So, if you are doing that, want to know where your out is. But I don't think it's a terrible call, Joel.
What was that one spread that you thought was reliable and you did it and you were instantly down like a $1.50 on it, $2? I think it was.
I've done pair trading for 26 years. I've probably made
it was Dell.
Pair trades for me to remember the one that you're
yes,
referencing.
because like it blew out. It was Dell and somebody.
Oh, DVMT when they were doing. I used to pair trade that thing. What the hell was it? It was DVMT versus they were spinning off the rest of it. What the hell was the symbol? It was VMware, wasn't it? They owned a lot of VMware. So it's DVMT, the old Dell, and it was like a tracking stock for VMware. And then whatever, I don't even remember why, but it was like the ratio was getting screwed up. It was like they were going to spin it off, and then there was a change, and then like, holy crap, I did lose a lot on that one, I think. So these pairs trades, they work sometimes, but they don't always work.
Yeah, maybe we
I'm pretty sure it was VMware when DVLT or whatever the hell the symbol was on the old Dell. Dell's been a symbol like on so many Dell Technologies, which basically was a VMware tracking stock for a long time. And then Dell was Dell back in the day. Michael Dell is just the financial, you want to talk about financial engineering and, different ways to like screw shareholders there. He's found ways. And I'm still mad at Michael Dell because I had that Dell back, obviously, after the financial crisis. And, the stock was, $12, $15. I'm like, I'm going to make a lot of money on this Dell. And then he took it private like 11. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And the shareholders voted yes. I'm like, I voted no. The stock was 9. It used to be like 90. And then obviously, he takes it private all those years, makes all the money, then brings it back public again. So wish, I would have been able to hold those Dell shares back from the year 2009. But no, Michael Dell had other plans. He's like, I'll make all the money myself. They want to have my shares down 85%. I'll make all the money myself. Screw all my shareholders. I'll take the company over. We should have voted no.
Do you know who pulled the fast one too? I'm really going into the record books here too. Remember, I don't know what he's doing now. Remember Eddie Lampert?
Yeah.
He did the Kmart thing.
Yeah.
Flushed all the stockholders down the toilet and then bought
Kmart.
Yeah. And then flushed it down the toilet. Then he mixed it with Sears Holdings. I wonder, you don't hear anything about that guy at all. I wonder what head.
I think he's probably. Is he still around? Is Eddie Lampert still around?
I don't know. I can't remember that. But they tore down. They tore down the old kid.
That old? I thought he was older than that. Wow.
Old. Yeah, he was a rich guy. Should we go to some PM earnings? There was some movement in NXPI. It is well off the pre-market lows. That was your tech stock that was reporting earnings. Wow. We are pulling up the earnings here for NXPI. I was looking at that. I was listening to you guys off the print, and they didn't jump on the headline number. Did you notice that? That the algos were like, maybe we should wait for some guidance here. And that's exactly what happened. 272 versus 267, 292 versus 289. There we go. Beat, but not a raise. Guidance 289 to 330 versus 306. That doesn't look super bad.
Not bad.
No, they just didn't beat, raise. And the street punished it for it. Got a dip.
Yeah, stock has bounced off the lows. We had a lot of sympathy peers, like on semiconductor trades with it. Microchip, MCHP, Texas Instruments trades with it. There's ADI is another one that trades with it as well. All those are trading down with it as well. And then, you can think, well, is it going to spill over to, the bigger guns like the NVIDIAs and AMDs? Kind of, but not that bad. The SMH is trading down here too. So NXPI has, hit them a little bit there. But like you said, Joel, it's off the lows. It'll be more important to see where the action on NXPI happens at 9:30 to indicate if the SMH is going to continue to go lower or if we can rebound there.
I did look under the 214 area here. If you get back down again, pre-market low, 213.25. Or in 213.33, I was looking back on the dailies, NXPI And I have this as a monthly here because I was doing my exotic spread trade. I will change that up. 214 was a pair of lows back in June 24th, June 25th. I like 214 right now. A little nibbler. If you come back down there and your bid just get whacked, and get the heck out of the way. But seem to be finding support right now ahead of the pre-market low. Big move in NXPI. What do we
We're
want?
going to Coke because
Coke.
we got like 2 minutes here, and I want before our guest, I want to get
Holy
KO in. So KO does beat 87 cents versus 83. The revenue is slightly light, I believe 12.5 versus 12.55 billion. But just looking, guidance seems to be fine here. Nothing great, but guidance is right in there. Stock is trading slightly down. So, and Coke, obviously, the staple that it is, is never that exciting to trade. They did announce, though, this is why I'm going to Coke, is that they do plan to launch a U.S. cane or a U.S. like for Trump. Remember the tweet a week and a half ago that he talked to Coke executives and they want to put real sugar in Coca-Cola instead of the sweeteners? Well, they are officially going to launch U.S. cane sugar Coca-Cola here. I don't think we have a date on it, but they said this fall. The company plans to launch an offering made with U.S. cane sugar to expand its trademark Coca-Cola product range. So they're going to offer a Coke with real sugar. So this is interesting because we talked about this with the sweetener stocks. ADM, obviously one of them. INGR is a sweetener stock as well. I do have a position in that as well. And then International Flavors too. Not seeing much response from those, but just keep that in mind because last time this was tweeted out, INGR really got hit and ADM really got hit. So just keep that in mind. There's trading slightly down in the pre-market here, but no real movement here yet.
Not often do I give 5-star levels on Coca-Cola. Going to the monthly here for all Warren, I hope you're listening to me on this one because this is easy.
Warren's selling Coke and buying rails.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
This is so easy. TradingRange.com. 3 monthly highs at the 72.50 area. You are on further notice until it clears 72.50 on a closing basis. Path of least resistance is lower. News on the downside. 3 monthly lows at 68.60. That's holding. So trade the range for 3 months. It's been in that trading range. We're coming up on the end of July. You can play the chop, the slop, and the whatever you want in between there. Very well-defined trading range, though, in Coca-Cola. And you're just above the lower end of the range. So let's see if the big boys step up to do that. Maybe we'll find out old Warren was parceling out at like $72 or something. But
I highly doubt it. He's had Coke
so?
for years. I don't think he sold any Coke at all. Nope.
Yeah,
I don't think he sold any
probably
Coke.
right.
We're starting bad rumors here.
Okay, it's bad rumor. What about Pepsi starting to, man, these sneaky gaps, it's leaked a little bit, but yeah, they already reported. I just wanted to look how it was in relation to holding the gap there. So trying to fill it, but not doing a great job at it.
Also, just one more. Well, actually, I'm going to go on to SERTA here because we just want to cover that news. The stock has been the disaster stock of the week, and it continues to be the disaster stock of the week. So they officially, last night, announcing they're officially suspending. Oh, what the hell is it? They're suspending shipments of the drug in the U.S. So officially suspending it. I didn't have the headline here. And if I go look up something on bandwidth, this StreamYard's eating all my bandwidth.
Help me with this.
I can never say it either.
Elevatus.
I know. I can't say any drug names. Like they're just too difficult to say.
You know what? The thing
got down at $12 last night. Actually, the news headline came out and it was like down, and it's actually rallied a little bit off of that because I think it's like, okay, well, it's maybe only in the U.S. Maybe they're not suspending it everywhere, so maybe that's a good thing. But still, not a great thing here. I mean, we've got H.C. Wainwright. They came out yesterday, put the price target 0 on it. They are commenting this morning. They are reiterating their 0 price target. Analysts commenting in the notes from this morning. Yesterday evening, SERTA announced that the company will voluntarily temporarily pause all shipments of Elevatus, I believe is how you say it, in the U.S. effective at the close of business Tuesday, July 22nd. So it's done. So they're not going to ship anymore. Following Monday's update from Children's LA Center had halted Elvis, citing the FDA, blah, blah, blah. I'm just looking through the note. So after claims pause, shipments were voluntary. We think the company moved preemptively, bracing for an inevitable FDA mandate to pull the drug. So they also think that without Elevidys, so we can just go in here, see our most recent note to refuse the FDA's zero intrinsic value after Elevidys U.S. market removal, lowering the price target to zero. Continue to believe the FDA will ultimately totally pull Elevidys from the market, as its questionable efficacy profile is now overshadowed by a far greater concern, real risk of death from DMD patients. We reiterate our sell rating and our 12-month price target of 0. Yikes.
Whoa. Okay.
You don't often see, it's why it's such an interesting story. You don't often see an analyst come out, they were on CNBC yesterday too. You don't often see an analyst come out with a price target of 0. The good news is we had that pop, and I was able to get out of that pop. And
I know, Dennis. I think
pop is the biggest gift ever.
Over our 87 years of trading together, I think that is one of my favorite trader years. It was a long-term investment. You got smoked. You tried to buy the dip. You had confidence in the company. You got smoked. You didn't buy anymore. You're just like, this is a salvage situation. And then you were able, from a day trading perspective, when it went to $29 to not exit to short. And then even though you're short, where you covered the short and where you exited the long, I think there was like a $5-6 difference. You just wiped your hands of it. You just said it was like a relief. It was a relief to you. And I don't think that people realize that enough, that sometimes when you're holding a bad position, whether it's your long-term portfolio or something that you're trading short-term, the mental exhaustion you get, you got that puppy, you got it out of there. It was done. You didn't even have to look at it. And who knows that it,
cutting the loser. It's just, yeah, you're right. This is what people don't do. They'll hold it to 0 because, well, I can't take a loss. Heaven forbid I have a losing trade. Heaven forbid I have a losing investment. This is why I'm in business for 26 years, because I take losses and I move on. And, you get ramps ups. And we talked about this in the Ask Dan room. We've already covered it, where it was a ridiculous pop 60% on a headline of restructuring. I'm like, did all of a sudden those people come back to life? I'm like, did, all of a sudden, they have another drug hit the market? Did they get taken over? No, none of these things. They were just restructuring out of necessity. And that's what we were talking about too. I'm like, these moves feel like it's out of necessity when you're cutting 36% of the workforce. Yet the stupid algos can't help themselves and they rip it right higher. So, well, Tony can wait 1 second. I just want to finish my point. But, this is what, algos are. It's about, stupid algos. Give us opportunities all the time as human beings. People say you can't beat the algos. You absolutely can, because we can use logic. Maybe AI eventually replaces us, but I tell you, algorithms don't.
Okay. Tony Pollock, the man running real life trading. Tony, do you mind if I reveal two breaking news items?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Number one, Tony's computer blew up on him last week. And he texted me that he couldn't come on, and I overlooked it. I mean, was it just a total meltdown? I mean, were you trading? Did you get what do they call it? Is it the green screen of death, or the yellow screen of death? And you tried
the black blinking line of code screen of death. So what happened? My computer's like, you need an update, and then everything froze. So luckily, it was right when I got off the morning mic with my community. So we're trading this $200 a week challenge, and it's been super fun. But luckily, that trade is we get in on Monday, and we're out of it by Tuesday or Wednesday. So we had just gotten out of it, just posted, and all of a sudden my computer starts freaking out. So I'm like, okay, that was good timing. So that's easy manager. That makes sense. And so then I'm like, all right, well, off to the next thing. Boom. And I was like, okay, well, it needs an update. So I pressed the update button.
Oh, you're dead.
And it blew up. I mean, it was just a black, just blinking light, a white blinking light on a black screen, and it was done. And I tried everything, tried to recover. Done.
Oh yeah, you go back. Oh, I used to do that trick. You go back. Oh yeah, this is going back to revert to like a different date. So, all right, the other breaking news, and Tony may be taking a little bit of break. He's taking one out of the Mitch book, and he's got some twins on the arrival very soon. So
they're coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tony. Holy cow.
Thank
You're
you.
in for a busy life coming. If you thought trading was hard, wait till you get
Yeah.
In the words of his great mentor.
Yeah, that's what Joel told me after I.
So,
Thank
Tony,
you.
when's the
Thank you.
turn? When's the turn in the SPY? When do we need to head for the hills? Or do we just, get out of stuff and buy some other stuff?
Man, that is such a great question. I'll share my screen here, and
Okay.
let's dive into some stuff here. So, let's see here. We like that one right there. All right. So if we're looking here at the futures, this starts to feel a little bit toppish to me. And so I forgot we have to on this one.
Yeah, we got it up there.
There we go. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Sweet. So this is starting to look a little bit double toppish to me coming through here. And the breakout yesterday was so strong, and then it's starting to fall kind of apart. So if you look here on SPY, that was just on the futures. But you never want to see a candle like this at all-time highs. You want to continue to see strong closures at all-time highs. So we had first warning flag right there with this huge engulfing bear candle. We trapped the bears and ran up. And now it looks like the bears are starting to get trapped a little bit. So really it's going to come down to where the follow-through happens. One candle does not make a decision for me. I need to see follow through in sentiment after that candle, but the candle does set the stage for which direction I'm looking at going. And so we're getting some hints of weakness, not to mention 630 is just getting stacked with options for every expiration. So I was waiting to see what it would do there. I thought yesterday we had a pretty good chance for a breakout, and now it's looking as though we could finally be getting a pullback. It's going to be a short-term pullback in my opinion, and it's a buy the dip. So until otherwise proven. But for right now, I'm thinking 612 to 600 is going to be a pretty good spot where I feel like lots of institutions are going to buy, and I'm going to look to join that party. So we'll see what happens at price action in those levels. But I think soon we could be getting a little bit of selling here pretty quick, because the bulls are just not doing what they should be doing at this moment until otherwise proven, right? We start getting daily closures up above yesterday's high. Great. We're back on the race, and let's just keep taking this thing higher. But it looks a little toppy to me for sure.
So if you get a pullback, Tony, do you see a substantial pullback, or is it like a 4 to 5% dip and the bulls resume? Is this just like a little buying opportunity if we get a dip? Give us some projections here. I like this right now.
I think it's like a 5% pullback at the worst. I would be shocked if we get much lower than $600. Based on how strong we were here across this all-time high, the amount of sentiment and bullish buying that we've had across this is now most likely going to be a really good buying spot, because this is where our bear should have been. So now this is where our bulls will be. And that's just what I'm thinking. So I think it's worst case 5%, maybe even a 3%. And it might actually not pull back as far as people want and take off. But I know these institutions are not in on this rip, and they want to close the year out strong. So they could use a bigger drop. And we do have, if this really wants to get crazy, which I doubt, we would need crazy news to come out for us to get below 600. Worst case scenario, I still think that like 570 would be an amazing buying spot. I just think that's a 3% chance of happening. So for me, the high probability is 613. The lower probability is 600. The probably not going to happen, but be prepared if it does. 570. If we're not bouncing by 570, something's up. We're in serious trouble. So that's kind of what I see. It's not going to be anything crazy that I think. So I'm buying the dip here pretty soon after about a 3-5% pullback.
And daily
ticker time with Tony. We're going to get some tickers here going here. I'm going to throw the first one at you here, Tony, and then we're going to let the chat dictate where we go, because we love tickers. I want to do Baidu, because this has been so sleepy for so long, BIDU. And I have a long position. I've had it for a while, but I cut it a little while ago too. So it's about a half size position of a normal position. Yeah. But man, some of these China stocks, you've seen Baba start to pick it up here a little bit there, but they've just been sleepy. Is there any hope for Baidu, or is this just stay sleepy?
No, there's hope for sure, because whenever you get a stock that runs crazy like this and builds structure and then takes structure out, those are really hard to get momentum moving again. This one, we had some structure built here years ago, but we haven't really built a whole lot of structure through here. And so I don't believe the bulls have really given up strength. It's just kind of waiting on the follow through. So a lot of the times, this is out on a monthly time frame, by the way, just to give you a big picture. I think over the next few months, I could even see another low come in and actually take out this strong support at 70. Let's see where this is at, 75.
Yeah.
And that could get bought up and trigger in that buy. So this thing loves to trap before we get those big bull moves.
That's a good point.
It looks like it's trying to base. And so I could see another trap coming back through if it wants to. It doesn't have to do any of this, but I could see another one happening. Some rejections off of this 200 EMA. It maybe is going to have a little bit of a short-term bear move, but if we can get some bullish closures on a daily above 95, I think we'd be in business on this stock for sure.
Multiple people, Kirk, Richard asking CoreWeave, CRWV.
All right.
He's been a wild one.
This is this one's nuts. So there's not a whole lot to go off of, but we do have a few levels to look at. So on a bigger time frame, and I start big and I work way down, we've got a pretty strong support at 131 and another huge one at 65. So
61, 131. That's a pretty far.
Yeah. So we're at that first one now. So far, I haven't seen any bulls. Like, I want to see lower wicks at this first buy, right? This first one here that we talked about. No buyers on the first month or first week. No buyers on the second one. So far, no buyers here. So if we zoom in here on a daily time frame, it's potential this is a double bottom, but man, we need to start seeing some strong bulls coming through. Look for traps below 120. And again, daily closures above 150, and this is in business, and I think we at least visit 185. So that'd be my line in the sand right there. If I wanted to go bullish, instead of trying to pick this bottom, let it break the bear level, show me its hand, and play that back up into there. That's an easy trade there. This is a little bit tough. So if this doesn't hold, unfortunately, it didn't really build any structure on the way up. So if this doesn't hold, it could have some pretty fun drops coming in the future, potentially. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on this. There's not a whole lot to go off of, but this is the buying spot at the moment if the bulls want to come to play. We'll see if they do.
AV from Bell in the chat, which is AeroVironment. I have full disclosure, I have a position in my long-term portfolio on the stock.
Got it. This one is putting in some pretty good structure. So again, bears had to hold this level down here. Once this breaks, it's full bull. And it's been following through with that really, really nicely. So if we start, oh yeah, this looks really good. I love a stock that's making higher highs and higher lows. Like, that's what you want to see. We're not seeing a whole lot of that right now. It's kind of weird, but that just tells me dips are buyable. It's just a matter of where are the buyers going to come in. So for me, this is very much a profit taking area potentially. So I want to be careful in this area up here. Doesn't mean it can't continue to go higher. It's just your risk reward gets a little bit tougher, and you end up getting a little bit more volatility and a lot more drops in this area because profits are being taken. So if you go back to kind of the previous areas, you can see what I'm talking about. It's a lot more of a chop type play. So it looks really good. And for me, it is a buy the dip. I would love something around, maybe we've already been there. 236 is a really good buying spot. We were already there and it got bought. So maybe that's it. And it's going to continue up. If this gets taken out, then like I would just say probably back into this next little support area here. Looks really good around $200 for another buy the dip, because on a bigger time frame, again, that dip might have been it. I don't know. I keep saying it needs a pullback, but that might have already been the pullback. So yeah, this is probably going to continue higher into my eyes. I like it. It's a good trending stock, and those are the best ones to play.
Chris and Michael want UNH, and this has been a storied stock for 2025, and it's not a good story. It's an ugly story. And I mean, we've given back about 5 years of gains. This entire sector, the healthcare providers, is in shambles. CNC, MOH, all the way along. UNH has been the leader. What did the technicals show in UNH? Yeah.
So people make the mistake of, like, just because the stock is low, they buy. for me, I'm looking a lot more at the structure of what's going on and what's the difference. So whenever a stock is making these higher highs, higher lows, just because the stock is low, you buy. But as soon as you start closing below that higher low, that story goes away from me. So sorry, guys. Let's see here. Let's go get back on this. So we're getting these higher highs coming through here. That opens the door for dips. This structure is, oh, dang it. Sorry. Switch around. There we go. These higher highs are open the door for dips. Once we take out the higher lows, now it changes. Now I could see us running back up to 440, honestly, over the next couple of years, but it's going to have a really tough area, and a lot of bag holders, this is where they're looking to exit, in my opinion.
Bag holder central.
Yep. So it's going to be unload the boat in this area. Now, if the bears don't step in, it could keep running back bullish. And, we're at the big 200 EMA on a monthly, which is kind of its last resort. Like, it's only ever hit.
Yeah. What if it takes that out?
Man, if it takes this out, I think we're kind of into a trapping mode here, honestly. I think everyone then starts to really exit their shares, and that could open the door for that bounce to come in, because the markets love to do that. So it's almost like it's setting everybody up. Like, the place to short was up here. The place to exit was through this area. So that's why I think if it bounces back up, this is where it's going to sell again. But if it keeps going lower, now you're really going to dig into those emotions of everybody. And now everyone's like, all right, I'm done. And they'll start to sell. Everyone will start to go short. They'll start loading into puts. And then I think we kind of get that reversal and run back up. And then they'll start FOMOing back in just in time for it to probably rotate back over. And that's how everyone's going to lose their money. So don't follow that crowd. For me, I'd actually be looking to go long on any traps down through here, and then just have my target in a place where I'm not expecting it to go to all-time highs. This would be a lot more of a trade than an investment. But to me, structure is broken on this. And so I'd be very careful buying this dip unless you have a really good risk reward. You kind of understand, like what we just talked about, where potential targets are going to be at. Because if everyone's like, this is going back to all-time highs, it's probably going to be a sad day when it gets back to 420 or so, and then it gets wrecked. But I think some structures being built, and it very well probably will take out this 250 mark, just because that's going to be max pain. Big volume will start to come back through. Earnings might be, pushing it down there, and playing against the emotions of everyone else. I think it's probably more of a buy the dip for a trade. But investing, I think the bull structure is broken right now for investing. I'd give this a few more years to see if they can change the narrative, price action.
All right, two more big dogs for you here. Apple. Let's go to Apple.
Apple. Man, so Apple is, let's see if I have my notes still on this. I don't. It's on the other screen. So I have notes on here saying, look for the breakout, because we have a pennant pattern right here, which is gorgeous. Look for the breakout and then reversal. It's on my other chart. So that's still what I'm looking for. And that's because the bigger time frames are not really lining up the way that we want to. Again, I thought that bulls should have held this area extremely nicely. They tried to for a few months, and then once we gave it up, that's where the bulls should have held classic support and resistance. Bears are probably going to step back in. So this was a really obvious pennant pattern on a daily time frame and on a weekly, right? Sorry, if I can get this thing to not grab that. There we go. Really great breakout. It's looking good. The problem is that we're not getting the strong closures where we need it. So in order for these bulls to keep rolling, I'd be looking for closures up above that 217. If we can get that, the party continues. The bears don't do their job. And then it'll come back up into the gap fill and then see what happens from there. But I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Apple actually start to rotate back down. And if that happens, the amount of bulls that are in this breakout are going to have to start to run for the hills. And it could cause a lot more selling and probably another visit back down to this 170. So that's what I'm waiting for, because if that happens, again, that's a low probability chance, but the greatest trades are when everyone's caught off guard. And so if we start taking this level out strongly, that's going to be my first warning flag of like something might be up. We start to take out the 700 level, we're going to get some serious action, because again, everybody played the pennant. Everybody's in, volume starting to spike back in, and everything else is running. And everyone's like, well, Apple's going to come too. And it probably will. again, this is a low probability, but the low probabilities, they don't happen very often. That's what makes them great, because catching everybody off guard, that's where some easy money's at. If it plays out that way, again, probably not going to, but I've got alerts just in case, because that's going to be, I mean, that will make my month in one trade. I just need to be able to wait for it. And I'm okay if it doesn't happen. I've got another alert up here. If it wants to run, we're going to run. And again, probably 225 would take us fully out of that scenario, but it's going to be fun to kind of see what happens.
I think we got a terrific new segment here, Ticker Time with Tony. And we're going to keep that up, Tony. I know you're busy, got some things. I'm going to dial you up here later in the week and get you on here some more. All right, Tony. Thank you. Okay. We'll be talking to you again real soon.
Thanks, Tony.
Yep.
Dennis, there's a lot of things moving here. What do you? I'm going to go your choice here, dealer's choice. The last 5 minutes here, and I got a little surprise for you.
Oh, surprises. Dealer's choices. We definitely are seeing more of rotation into value names here again this morning. We saw this yesterday in the pre-market. We're seeing it again. Banks are strong. Mega cap, I know people say, oh, value. What are you talking about, Microsoft value? But it's also not PEs of 150. So what we've seen is, holy, there's a lot of headlines. We were seeing, PE stocks that were trading, like Oklos and that don't even have a PE, NNE, SMR, even Palantirs yesterday, Robinhood stocks with, nosebleed PEs. We saw those really getting hit. The Momo names. We were moving to non-Momo names yesterday. So, Apple had a pretty good day. Microsoft was fine. Meta was fine. These weren't Momo stocks. These are, your mega caps. And then, so those look okay here today. And we're seeing banks. We're seeing, home builders having a great day here today. So you're definitely seeing rotation out of the Momo names again to a certain extent and into those other names. I don't know when it comes back. It might come back today. It might come back tomorrow. It might come back in 2 months from now. But right now, we're just identifying rotation, trying to stay ahead of it. And we can clearly see that people are a little bit spooked on some of the Momo names, and they're moving into stuff that, maybe has been basing, like Amazon's been putting in a base here for a long time, Joel, 225, 226, not really doing much here. And all of a sudden yesterday starts to break out.
Okay. All right.
Joel, you had something. What do you got? Oh, look at this. He's able to write on the screen. I love this. Let's use this more. Warren Buffett value. That's what we need. I agree here. Being able to write on these charts is going to help us substantially. So we're going to teach Joel how to quickly move these and writing on that. I like that.
Yeah. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to do the.
That's a nice toy right there. We're going to get Joel.
What is going on in Kohl's? I talked about this in the STN room before we got started. What the heck?
We talked about it pre-market prep at 1075 here this morning. So it's continuing to move higher, and the squeeze is on some stocks. So you got to be aware of these short squeezes that starting to move here. If there was, let me know. Brentster can dig in the background. I think this is just continued short squeezes. So go again. We can go to that highshortinterest.com. Brentster, if you want to bring up that list, why don't we go and actually show it? So let's bring it on the screen. Brentster's going to show it in the background here. Okay. Highshortinterest.com. When the squeezes are on, some of the stocks on this list really can start to go. So I think you've got to be aware. And you got Kohl's here moving here now too. So the squeeze is on in some stocks here. Open is still, up a little bit, 389. It's up 21%. But you've got Kohl's as number 5 on the list. It was moving yesterday. I'd be careful on that WOLF. I mean, that's just, if you look at the chart, we don't have to show the chart right now. I'll just leave that on the screen. But just going through a few of these here right now, these are the ones that have the potential to squeeze. IRS. Riley's a real short, real small float one. That one's wild. So you got to be careful on that one. Hertz hasn't really done anything yet. Beyond Meat was squeezing yesterday. I'm just kind of going through the list. Is trying to squeeze a little bit here this morning. RSLS has squeezed in the past. We haven't seen much from that one yet. But I mean, look at this list, and there are stocks on this list that have the potential to squeeze. And we are in squeezy station here right now, thanks to the move and open.
Okay, 8:59 here. I know we still had some earnings stocks. Did we have a downgrade? We had a Lulu downgrade, I believe, at JP Morgan, but did we hear the sell word from Compass Point on Circle? CRCL, talk about Momo's getting kicked. There we go. I had a nice bounce off that 50% retracement area, coming back down to it, trading down 645. Where does Compass Point rank, Dennis, in your analyst world?
Boutique. They can move some stuff, but they're not huge. But boutique. Whenever an analyst says sell, the street takes note, especially when it's in a Momo name like Circle, because obviously this is a stock that was, darling, sold off substantially a few weeks ago, and now it's starting to leak here again. I mean, 250 2 days ago, 262. So the stock is wild.
Okay. All right. All right. Coming up at the 9 o'clock hour here. The buy the dippers are present again. We're now up 3 1/4, just off that pre-market high. All-time closing high was made yesterday at 44.75, and we'll see if we can get back up that 63.74. Let's just take a look at the IWM. That is red candle yesterday, but trying to get through the 225 area and stay there for good. And the triple Qs, well, triple Qs, they do what they do. Up.
Let's mega cap trade. The mega caps were strong yesterday, so Qs were going to hold up well because of the mega caps. So I think we still keep looking in these short squeeze stocks here. So I think we're going to go through the list in depth here in the STN room, see what we see here. So if you're interested in looking at some of these names, join us for your trial over there at Stock Trader Network here, because I think we're going to look at some of these names and see if, there isn't some other little hidden gems here, not gems, but hidden little short squeeze potential there.
Okay. See you guys tomorrow.